What's happening, everybody? This is Rob. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day. And today I want to talk a little bit about these Nintendo Switch 2 hands-on preview events that we know are going to happen starting days after the Nintendo Direct on April 2nd. This is something that was announced the same day as the Switch 2, of course. We all saw it at the end of the revealed trailer. And people have been really focused on these, very excited for these, trying like crazy just to get qualified to get an invite. I mean, it's just been insane, and it's actually not something I've really talked about at all on the channel here, but I do have some thoughts and opinions, and so I figured today would be a good chance to do so. First and foremost, I think it's important to just mention that I think this is super cool. These are the exact kinds of things and events you want to do to promote your new product and your new device. And as some of us may remember, Nintendo did a lot of similar events back in 2017 for the Nintendo Switch. They had some events in New York City. They had this other kind of traveling thing where I believe they were going to like malls or different locations around the world and setting up like these booths for people to be able to like step inside of a booth and play the Nintendo Switch. And it was almost like a pop-up surprise kind of thing. And I do believe that was all over the world in many different countries. Don't quote me on that. I'm kind of just going off of memory here, but I want to say that that's kind of what they did. And it seems like they're doing something very similar again by, like I said, doing a lot of worldwide invite-only Switch events. Now, when they did it in 2017, they had a random event for anybody. They had an invite-only one, and then they had a very high-up media press one. Now, I went to the invite-only one, and I'll touch on that in a second. But when it comes to what they're doing this time around, they are starting, I believe they're starting in New York City. And there's 3 dates in the United States. There's 1 or 2 in Canada. So there's a few in North America. And then you can find the list. Most continents have a few of these happening. So they're really doing what they can to kind of spread themselves across the globe and try to get these things out there. We know that the Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2 happens on April 2nd. So, man, 2 months away. So exciting. Cannot wait to see what that's going to hold. But then again, I believe the first date is actually April 4th in New York City. So 2 days later is the first North American date, which I think is also the first date across the board. And that's when, again, they start popping up all over the place, I believe into May. So through pretty much all of April and May, they're going to be holding several of these in many different countries. Now, a little bit of a fun fact and some fun trivia for the channel here, for my channel, for anyone who's maybe wasn't around back in 2017. I'm very happy and proud to say that I was actually invited to the invite-only event, which I believe was the second or third day of the Switch event in 2017 in New York City. And so myself and another fellow YouTuber buddy of mine who I used to podcast with a lot, his name is also Robert. He has a great YouTube channel called Gaming With Me. He lives in New York City, so I went out there, visited him, and the two of us, he kind of became my plus one, so to speak, because we're both content creators, so we both qualified. And so we got to go to that event, and I made a whole vlog, and I recorded a ton of footage, you know, to have been able to get my hands on the Switch, the Joy-Cons, Breath of the Wild, before 90% of the world was so exciting. And it was like a big 2 or 3 hour long like amusement park ride of check out this game, check out this feature, see what the Switch 2 can, or the Switch can do here. Play Zelda, play Splatoon 2, play 1-2 Switch, play Mario Kart 8, play Street Fighter and Bomberman. It was very, very cool. In fact, they even made a trailer, a really cool kind of promotional video that was showcased a bunch of what happened across those 3 days in New York City for this event. This was January 2017, so this was like, I want to say 4 or 5 days or so after the big event they held in Japan for the Switch to kind of unveil it on that stage presentation. It was a few days later in New York City this happened. And in that promotional video they made after the fact, you can actually see myself and my buddy Robert in 2 quick clips playing 1-2 Switch. You can see us right here. And just as proof that that really was us, here's my own footage, which actually one of the girls who was a booth attendee for 1-2 Switch, she was willing to take my camera and walk around and film us to get a couple of clips of us playing. But you can see that was us in their video, and this is us in my video. So it was a great time, amazing memories. In fact, I should also mention that we had a chance to meet Etika there at the time. So kind of a sadder story to think about now, but I'm really happy to be able to say that he was there. I believe he lived in New York, and he was there. He was walking around beforehand. He was in the show a little bit. touched base with him a little bit afterwards. We didn't know each other at all. I'm not trying to say that we like knew each other, but he was there in a big presence and everyone was excited to see Etika bopping around. Huge, big personality, super friendly. We did chat a little bit and shake hands, especially at the end there. And he was really kind and friendly to everyone at the show who was excited to see him there. So that is actually one of my favorite memories of that. It's not just playing the Switch for the first time, but it's that I got a chance to meet Etika when he was still around and with us. Anyway, though, back to the Nintendo stuff. It was a really cool event, and so the only reason I bring up that story, it isn't just for me to take a trip down memory lane. It's to say that I got a chance to experience firsthand what events like these put on by Nintendo can be like, and so I think it's very cool and exciting that they're doing the same for the Switch too. Now, for me, I know everyone had been going crazy, refreshing Nintendo's websites, trying to get invited to these, and the first wave, no one could get in. I believe there's a second wave, and I've seen some people who I know in the YouTube space managing to get in. It seems like they are not handing these out to anyone, even in the press. Jeff Keighley couldn't get in. It's been pretty crazy. I personally haven't talked about it online. I haven't talked about it in the videos. And I haven't even tried to get in because I just don't really have any interest. And it's for a few reasons. One is, I just spent several minutes talking to you about how I had a chance to attend the Switch 1 event in 2017, so I don't feel like I need to go to this one again. The other part is very personal, which is that I hate traveling, man. And I do travel. We're going to be traveling a couple of times this year. I mean, traveling is just a part of life, to visit family, to take a vacation, whatever you got to do. For work, I've had to travel for work once already the past few months. But in general, I just don't like traveling. Even if I like where I'm going, and once I'm there, I like being there, I just hate the process of packing and planning and getting time off and the traveling and airports and just garbage. So as fun as this would be, there's not one close to me. That's the other thing, is there's not one really close to where I am. So I ain't driving to one. I'd have to fly to one, just like I did to New York City back in 2017. And I just don't really have that interest in doing it this time. The other thing is, we don't really know what's going to be there yet. Now, to be fair, I might end up kicking myself for not even trying to attend one of these, simply because if Metroid Prime 4 is shown to be a Switch 2 game, and maybe shown to be an early release or launch game for the Switch 2 at the April Direct, there's a chance Metroid Prime 4 will be one of the games playable at these events. There's actually, I'm just going to say it, a pretty darn good chance it's going to be playable. So I will be crying in my pillow, knowing that, oh my gosh, I could have played Metroid Prime 4 if I just tried to get a ticket to one of these. Keeping in mind that even if I'd been trying, there's no guarantee I would have even gotten one. But like I said, I haven't even been trying. I just kind of wrote it off. Everyone else is scrambling like crazy to get one. Why do I need to throw myself into the mix when I don't really want to travel for it anyway? But if Metroid is there, yeah, I'm obviously going to regret it. But the good news is more and more people seem to be getting access to this thing. Obviously, I mostly know and follow people who are in North America. A lot of folks trying in other countries. I don't see that as much on my feeds and amongst the people I know. But I do see people in whatever second wave seems to be happening starting to get access to this. And more people saying, hey, I just got a ticket. I got approved. I'm going to be there. There's one in Texas, there's one in New York, and there's one in California, I believe. Again, in the United States, and then one or two in Canada. I want to say Toronto. And so, the ultimate point of this was to just talk about kind of what my experience was doing it in 2017, how I think this is really cool and smart for them to do this time in 2025 for the Switch 2. It'll be interesting to see how this fits into the release timing of the console, because April 2nd, they're going to have the Direct and give us a ton of info, price, release date, a ton of games, launch games, probably Metroid, all of this great stuff. 2 days later, this worldwide tour starts that's going to cover April and May. Is there a chance that this maybe helps reaffirm the theory of June, which is something I believe in? I think June might be the target release month, so that in April and May, they give us a Direct and all of these World Tour in-person events, and then the month after those end in May is when they release the console in June. So I kind of think we might be looking at something like that. Simply knowing these events only cover April and May, to me, really makes me feel even more comfortable about June, or maybe July, but I feel like it would be June. About one of these mid-summer months actually being the release for the console. Something I might do soon, if you guys maybe think that this would be fun, would be to re-watch and re-react to my my footage and my vlog of the Switch 1 event. It's like a 20-minute video, and maybe I would just rewatch it and just kind of talk about it, a little bit more in depth, my experiences there. Going to that event and how that could kind of inform what might be happening at these Switch 2 events. I think that could be fun just for fun, like I said, for me and hopefully for you guys. But I think that these Switch 2 events, it's just going to be whatever games are shown to us and confirmed to be coming to the Switch 2 soon in its life in this April Direct is what's going to be there. Mario Kart is going to be there for sure. Metroid Prime 4, I think, has a very, very great chance. And if we're getting third-party games, whether they're big or small, some indie games, I'm sure that those things are going to be there. If they show that there's a new Mario game coming in the April 2nd Direct, it might even be there. The same way Breath of the Wild was at the Switch 1 events in January of 2017. Maybe the big Mario game would also be there, It'll be very exciting to see. They should also be having certain games or events set up where you can actually take advantage of some of the new features. So whatever this mouse feature looks like, there's probably going to be a game being presented that people can play, specifically taking advantage of the mouse, and whatever other new Joy-Con features we might not know about. If there's another casual kind of game like a 1-2 Switch or a sequel to that, something that takes further advantage of the Joy-Cons, maybe even like a WarioWare or a Mario Party, I think those will also be on display because not only do they want to show you the games, they want people to see how much bigger and better the console and the Joy-Cons are, they want to show off these new features. So games that show off these features will probably also be prominently featured in these events that start in April. So it's a very exciting time. Like I said, even though I'm not going to be going to one, I didn't even try to get qualified for one, I'll be curious to see in the comments if anyone did get in, and if you plan on going, what it is you're looking forward to seeing and what you expect. I feel very, very happy for anyone who managed to get a ticket or an invite to one of these events, whatever country, whatever continent, and that you're going to get to enjoy it before the rest of us do. Because we're going to have to wait until stinking release day and hope we even got a pre-order in time. That's a whole different kind of mess we have to figure out, right? So these are just some of my thoughts. I thought this would be fun to just kind of BS and blab about this whole thing because it is an exciting time. So that's all for now. Share your thoughts below. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I will see you next time.